You can use a Wii remote on your 3DS. The 3DS is full of hidden features, some that are very well known and others not so much. But you probably didn't know that you can actually use a Wii remote instead of a stylus on your 3DS. Have you ever thought the 3DS charger looked familiar? It's the same connector as the Wii sensor bar. By plugging in the sensor bar to your 3DS charging port, then syncing your Wii remote to your 3DS by going to settings and holding the sync button on the remote while selecting touchscreen, you'll be able to calibrate to your 3DS. Pretty neat feature that a lot of people might not know about, but now you know that. YouTube was once available on the N64. While many of you may know about some interesting ways to watch movies and videos on your consoles, such as the Netflix disc or GBA video cartridges, you might not know about the YouTube cartridge for the N64. It was a very limited release and only available to those closely involved with the making of the website in the early stages. Now you may be thinking, didn't YouTube come out way later than the N64? And you'd be right, YouTube didn't go public until 2005, and the last officially licensed N64 game, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, was released in August 2002, but that was the last licensed game. Even today, unlicensed and fan-made N64 games are being made, and around 2004, before YouTube was public, a YouTube N64 cartridge was created. Although it could never access the internet, it was mainly used to see how certain features would behave when used with older technology and test bugs within the UI that may have otherwise went under the radar on a personal computer. These cartridges are extremely rare, and it's hard to find one that isn't a counterfeit. So, now you know. You can play PlayStation 2 game discs on your PS5. The Sony PlayStation 5 controllers have a really unique feature that most other controllers don't possess. They're able to store a small amount of memory. Because of this feature, if you plug your PS5 controller into your PS2 with a game inserted into it, you'll see the game disc along with a memory card, except that memory card is actually your PS5 controller. You need to make sure you don't already have a memory card inserted, or else it won't recognize the PS5 controller as a memory card. Highlight the disc and press X. It says enter, but what it will really do is begin a data transfer. What you're doing is essentially downloading the game onto the controller. Once finished, turn on your PS5 using the plugged-in PS5 controller. Go to the media section and it will recognize the game as a Blu-ray or movie disc. And as soon as you plug that controller out, turn off the PS2 or take the game disc out, the game data will be removed from the controller and you'll have to start over. It's a very unheard of feature of the PlayStation 5 and ultimately not very useful. But now you know. Snapchat was once released on the 3DS and it sold horribly. In 2013, Snapchat was growing exponentially fast and the creative team behind it was coming up with new ideas to appeal to the teenage demographic. These included simplifying the logo, adding new features such as Snapchat Stories, and for some reason, releasing a 3DS version of the app in game stores exclusive to only a few states in America. It was a swing and a miss, most likely because of the $20 price, glitchy software, and overall lack of awareness of the cartridge. Not to mention the horrible camera the 3DS had. All of it amounted to very low sales numbers and many of the cartridges were taken out of stores, but also I just made that whole thing up and this never happened. So if you watch this video again, you'll know that I'm lying when I say you can play Switch games on your Nintendo 64. Nintendo is known for its backwards compatibility in consoles like the DS and Wii, but in 1993, when the N64 was being created, the hardware designers came up with a slot that could hold a specific chip that would have come with the console. The only thing the chip did was show a screen for when the console couldn't read a game. The chip was eventually scrapped, but the slot wasn't. While creating the Switch, Yoshiaki Koizumi, overseer of development, realized the console wouldn't be backwards compatible with the previous console, the Wii U. He decided the cartridge would be the same size as the abandoned N64 chip, giving the N64 the ability to play Switch games. One thing you'll notice is the graphics are significantly worse, and the game won't save any progress. But also, I'm lying. Did you really believe me when I said the N64 can be played with a GameCube controller? The N64 and GameCube controller connectors have the same shape, but as you can see, the GameCube connector is too small for the N64. However, you can plug your GameCube controller into the back of the N64 controller. That alone won't work. You'll also need two AA batteries. Simply rest them beside where you plugged in the GameCube controller. One should be facing up, one should be facing down. It doesn't matter which one. This is going to produce a constant flow of electricity, taking energy from the console, bringing it to the GameCube controller, and then giving it back to the console. Be careful not to touch the batteries while the console is on, but also, there's no way this would ever work. Go ahead and watch this video again. It still won't make it true. Ready? Here we go. You can use the internet on a Game Boy Advance. In 2004, a third-party company named Govio created an internet browser cartridge for the GBA. All you would have to do is make sure you had a wireless adapter plugged into your Game Boy. From there, the adapter would search nearby networks, though you had to be in really close range to receive a signal. Once online, the internet was yours to browse. These cartridges were very limited, and after Govio went out of business, they stopped being made entirely. They're extremely rare to find today, and shockingly, it still works. But also, I'm lying. That whole story was false, but at least now you won't be fooled if someone tells you can play DS games on the Wii. Have you ever noticed the GameCube memory card slots in your Wii? Well, as it turns out, those aren't just for the GameCube. The DS itself was not capable of storing memory, so instead, DS game data would save on cartridges themselves. DS games were kind of like their own memory cards. Put the DS game inside the first GameCube memory card slot. The Wii will recognize it as a GameCube game. Make sure there isn't already a game inside the Wii. Click start, and now you're playing your DS game, and the Wii remote will act as the stylus. You will only be able to see the bottom screen of your game, and this only works on the Wii, so don't try putting a DS game in your actual GameCube. But also, I'm lying. You can send this video to your friends to fool them into thinking that you can catch Pokemon in Pokemon Go in space. In 2018, Pokemon Go developers made an update to the game allowing people to play the game in space. Astronaut Lenny Bond promoted this feature in a video showing him playing it on the International Space Station. But how exactly does this work? Well, Pokemon Go uses data from Google Maps and Google Earth. And one day, NASA reached out to Niantic, the company that developed Pokemon Go, and asked if players could catch Pokemon in space. At the time, this wasn't an option, but soon after, Pokemon Go started tracking location data using Google Sky if the device was outside of Earth. The best part is, legendaries are extremely common to find in space. But also, I'm lying. I wish this were true, but unfortunately what I'm about to say is absolutely fake. Twitter was once released on the PlayStation 3. Now I know what you're thinking. Twitter on PS3? There's no way. But hear me out. We all remember the PS3 Netflix disc. And not long after that was released, Sony had the brilliant idea of bringing Twitter, the hottest social media app at the time, right to people's home consoles. This made it easy for gamers to access their Twitter feeds without having to leave their PS3. It was especially convenient to share achievements and screenshots from the PS3 to Twitter in seconds. Despite all of this, it was actually considered a massive flop. For one, navigating Twitter on the PS3 was difficult and felt like a chore, and it also lacked many essential features like direct messaging. But also, I'm lying. Twitter on PS3? What a stupid idea. But if it were real, I'd probably say something like, you can play GameCube games on your PlayStation 2. When the PS2 was first being created, Sony and Nintendo came to a licensing agreement that would allow their next consoles to play each other's games. Originally, both the PS2 and GameCube game discs were supposed to be small, but Sony eventually opted out of that and decided the PS2 would have the larger 4.7-inch size so it could also play DVD movies. Nintendo was furious and the agreement was called off, but it was too late for Sony to change the PS2 software, and Nintendo didn't want to change anything about the GameCube games, so as a result, the PS2 could still play them. Sony, however, was not allowed to use this as a selling point for the PS2. But it didn't take long for users to discover the feature anyway. But also, I'm lying. This is totally fake, and you know what else is a lie? The idea that you can scan Pokemon cards to catch Pokemon in red and blue. When the Game Boy Advance SP came out, they added a feature where not only could you play original Game Boy games, but if you had Pokemon red or blue, you could scan cards to catch Pokemon in the game. The SP actually stands for Scan Pokemon. Simply put the game in the Game Boy, I'll use Pokemon Red. Notice how it says 95, 96, and 98? You're gonna need to use Pokemon cards that also have those numbers on the bottom. Go to your Pokemon and close the Game Boy. Make sure you don't already have a full team or else this won't work. Now, insert the card until you feel resistance. Hold down the L and R buttons until you hear a sound.
Let's go, okay.
Kind of like a document scanner, the screen is scanning the card. You should now see the Pokemon in your team, and yes, you can do this to catch Mew. But also, I'm lying. You actually believed me. But did you know that TikTok was just released on the Nintendo Switch? I just went to my local GameStop and found this special TikTok cartridge. It cost $10, but don't worry, DK Oldies is charging $300. Now I can watch all my favorite TikToks and even upload videos from my Switch. It works just like a phone. It's vertical and uses swipe controls. This is a limited release from TikTok to celebrate 1 billion worldwide users, so get yours while you can. But also, I'm lying. You can technically still get TikTok on your Switch through the Switch's internet browser, but that's a story for another day. This cartridge, however, is not real. So now you know what I'm about to say is totally false. Okay, I gotta see if this works. So the Wii Shop Channel was closed down years ago, but apparently if you change the date on your Wii to before it was closed, you can still use it. Alright, let's see. So it closed down in 2019, so I'll change the date to 2011, right? Let's do that. Okay, I'm just gonna click on it now. Come on. Let's go. Oh my god, let's go. I am browsing the Wii Shop Channel. This is crazy. It's 2023. Oh, what happened? Oh, sorry guys. It looks like this is fake. You can play N64 games on the Wii. You might think the Wii is only backwards compatible with the GameCube, but that's where you're wrong. If you take an N64 game and hold the bottom of it up to the disc slot while you turn on the Wii, you'll see that N64 game on your home menu. Make sure there isn't already a game inside. The reason this works is because when you turn on the Wii, you'll notice a blue light flash. What that's doing is it's scanning the outside of the disc slot, so it can read an N64 game that you lean against it. This feature was made for N64 games, and it works on any Wii model. But also, I'm lying. I honestly don't even know what that blue light is for. Maybe it does that so that someone just reached out and said you can watch Netflix without even signing up. So they say you have to go to netflix.com, obviously. Now, scroll all the way down. Watch without sign up? Oh, there's no way. There's no way this actually works. What is this? No, oh my god, no way. There's no way. What is this? Is this like a bug or something? What is going on? This is such a cheat. I'm not even logged in. Hell yeah, dude. Let's watch some Spider-Man 3. Oh, what? Oh. This is fake. Yeah, this whole thing I just did, it's fake. Yeah, sorry. You can order McDonald's using a GameCube. Remember these? Good times. But have you ever seen this? It's the super rare McDonald's GameCube game. Now, the GameCube kiosks used to be in many McDonald's restaurants in North America and Japan, but they were originally meant to do what these kiosks do. The GameCubes inside McDonald's restaurants were actually supposed to contain this game, which would allow kids, or parents of kids, to order their food through them. Once ordered, a ticket would have come out of it. It would have cut the lines, sped up the ordering, but eventually McDonald's decided to use them for games instead, and the McDonald's GameCube game was never given out to the restaurants. You can still find copies of this, but they're rare and expensive. But also, I'm lying. None of this is true. You know what else isn't true? This. Did you know that you can play GameCube games on the 3DS? Check this out. First, take out any game that's inside the game slot. Then, turn on your 3DS and close it while it's on the home menu. Then take whatever game you want. I'll use Super Smash Bros. Melee. Now insert the game inside the space between the two screens without actually opening the DS. Wait until it makes this sound. It should take a few minutes, and then you can open your 3DS and take the game out. Even though you won't see anything there, hover over the game icon and press A. You're now playing the game. Be aware that it won't save, and once you turn off your system, you'll have to start over if you want to play it again. But also, I'm lying. Ha 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 ha. Yes, I win again. But also... Okay, I don't know how I didn't already know this. Apparently you can unlock Shy Guy in Mario Kart Wii. Let's just take a look at the roster, right? Obviously Shy Guy is not there. That's for Dry Bowser. That's for Baby Daisy. So let's go ahead and just go back. Now the only thing you actually have to do is hold down 1 and 2 and just start shaking it. Just like this. Watch this. Watch this. Isn't that crazy? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You can get your Wii remote to make the sounds of different Pokemon using Pokemon cards. This is such a cool feature that I never knew about. All you have to do is turn on your Wii, take a Wii remote, and get a Pokemon card from the year 2007. You'll notice these cards have this little code at the bottom. Hold the sensor of the Wii remote up to that code and you'll hear that Pokemon's sound. This is such a cool feature, and it would be even cooler if it was real, since I'm actually lying. But what is true is that I hid a secret Charmander in this video and a secret Pikachu in the TikTok version. Can you find them both? Okay, I gotta see if this works. Apparently, there's a hidden Thanos Easter egg on the PlayStation 5. So the first thing you have to do is look up Thanos on the PlayStation Store. Then you gotta get games from each generation of PlayStation. So what you need to do is put in a game from each generation and then eject it, starting from 1 to 5. First up, PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, and finally 5. You actually don't need to eject this one. Okay, let's see.
Run from it.
No.
Destiny arrives.
Oh my god! Oh my god! No way! Oh, of course. Of course this is fake. And I hope I got you. I hope I fooled you. Because none of you watched my Mario Kart video, even after I specifically asked you to. Did you know about the secret minigame on the PS2 startup screen? The PS2 has a lot of hidden features, such as being able to switch the screen resolution and aspect ratio, but this one is by far the most interesting. If you hold down the analog button on your controller during the startup screen, you'll be taken to this minigame. It's very minimal. You're in a first-person perspective traveling through the memory towers. There's no objective, but just like on the startup, the towers are accurate to the memory card inserted. It's unfinished and was actually supposed to be the original way to navigate through the memory card's save files, but was ultimately scrapped. However, it still exists in the PS2 software. There's no way to win or lose, so if you want to stop, you'll have to restart the system. But also, I'm lying. But what if I wasn't? Wouldn't that be awesome? Then I'd be able to make a video that says something like, Vine was once released on the 3DS. In 2013, Vine was everywhere, and it was one of the hottest video sharing apps at the time. Even Xbox had an app for it. But you probably didn't know that Dan Hoffman, the creator of Vine, had it released as a 3DS cartridge. It just made sense. Teenagers were their target audience, and teenagers were playing the 3DS. And with the 3DS having a camera, who wouldn't see it as a great marketing strategy? The only problem was its limited functionality. Sure, you could watch and upload videos, but you couldn't comment, share, and it was pretty slow and glitchy. After some bad initial reviews and Vine beginning to shut down for good, it was eventually pulled from stores. But also, I'm lying. First Snapchat on the 3DS and now Vine. What's next, Reddit? Gross. But did you know that... Okay, I gotta see if this works. Apparently you can get Sonic in Smash Melee. So Sonic was apparently supposed to be in the original game, but he didn't make the final cut. But he was recently found in the game files. So what you have to do is go to name entry, and then you gotta copy exactly what I do. So basically what this is doing is using the name entry, it's generating a character. Sonic is character number 26 in the game files, and then each character has a 3-letter code to represent them. The next step is to just play any match. It really doesn't matter. Alright, whatever. Oh shit. No way. No way. You can play Wii games on the PS3. You might not know, oh, what's the point? You all know I'm lying. Why would this even work? I mean, even if it was real, what would the purpose be? What, the two consoles used similar software? Sony used a Wii to create the PS3, and that's kinda good. The PS3 was actually built from a Wii, both physically and the software from it was also modified, which is why it works. And yes, GameCube games also work on the PS3, but also, I'm lying. You believe me? Yes, sir, you believe the whole thing. Yes! Who would ever believe a guy who said something as stupid as, this is the PlayStation 2 disc for the PS1. It's able to emulate a PS2 demo on the PS1 console. The disc was used as a marketing strategy for current PS1 owners. It would allow them to test out PS2 games without actually buying a PS2. It contained a demo version of a few of the PS2 launch games, including Madden 2001, Tekken Tag Tournament, and Eternal Ring. The disc was actually not sold in stores, but rather mailed out to PS1 owners. The PlayStation 2 ended up being the most sold console ever, so this proved to be a successful tactic in getting users to upgrade from 1 to 2. But also, I'm lying. I'm gonna go now while you think about how you just believed me. Hey, while you're just believing stuff, believe this. You can use an NES controller on a Game Boy Advance. I can't believe I didn't know about this feature. If you take an NES controller, you'll notice the connector is way too big for the GBA ports. You'll need to shrink the controller. We all know putting things in the dryer will shrink them, but that's gonna take way too long, so I'll use the microwave instead. Set it to a few minutes, and then... But also, I'm lying. Okay, let's try this again. Instagram was once released on the Wii. I'm sure you've seen the Netflix disc for the Wii, but in 2012, Instagram was becoming one of the biggest social media companies, and Nintendo figured they ought to capitalize on it by putting the app on a disc exclusive to the Wii. While you couldn't post anything on the disc version, you were still able to like and comment on posts. The biggest problem was how slow it was. Everything you did, even just changing tabs, took you to, at minimum, a 10-second loading screen. The disc sold poorly. It just couldn't compete with the app. But also, I'm lying. We've done Twitter, Snapchat, Vine. There's an entire compilation on my channel of all the lies about social media games I've told. And I will now end the series with Instagram. But also, I'm lying again. Reddit on Game Boy coming soon. Stay tuned. Also,
Okay, I gotta try this. Someone just discovered this glitch where you can unlock Waluigi in Smash Bros. Brawl. So you know how whenever you play a certain amount of matches, a character will show up, and then if you beat them, you unlock them? Well, basically the glitch is that you lose on purpose, and you keep losing until you've reached 450 battles, which gets you to Wolf. So I have no characters because Ness keeps showing up at the end of the battles and I lose on purpose. And at this point I'm at 450 battles, which means every unlockable character is just ready, waiting for me to unlock them. But I gotta unlock Ness first, right? But if you keep waiting and never unlocking anybody, eventually the game will glitch and will show you Waluigi. So basically I'm just gonna play a random match and I'm just gonna leave. All right, let's see. Okay, so that's Ness. What? No way. Oh my... What?
you probably didn't know that N64 games work on the Sega Genesis. That's because I'm lying and they can't. You can play Wii games on the Nintendo Switch. It was definitely strange having the Nintendo Switch not take discs or be backwards compatible, but that wasn't actually the original plan. If you have an OLED Switch with the dock, you can take a Wii or Wii U game and place it inside the dock behind the console. This is amazing. I'm playing Mario Kart Wii with a Joy-Con, but also, and more importantly, I'm lying. And with that, my summer lying comes to an end. You can check out the entire Summer Lies compilation on my YouTube channel right now, and also the entire August Lies compilation. More lies to come in September.
Okay, I gotta see if this works. So we all know in Plants vs. Zombies that if you go to the achievements, you can scroll down and you see all these different Easter eggs and stuff. But that's not what I'm talking about. Someone just discovered that you can scroll even further, and on top of that, when you scroll further, there's a hidden plant never before seen in this game. It's like the devs made it a secret or something. So we're at the end here, but here's what you have to do. Take your mouse, hold the click and scroll with your middle finger while still holding. Let's see. No way. No way this is happening. Oh my god, there it is. There it is. Wait, where'd my mouse go?
You can transfer Pokemon from Pokemon Go into Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. All you have to do is go into Pokemon Go and choose the Pokemon you want to transfer. Then, get the game you want to use. Using a GBA or GBA SP, go to a Pokemon Center and talk to the link cable lady. Don't exit the conversation. Then go back to Pokemon Go, tap on the 3 lines and click Transfer. Make sure your phone and Game Boy are right next to each other. Tap yes and the Pokemon will disappear. But then you'll hear this sound from the GBA. This can't be undone, so once you transfer a Pokemon onto the GBA, you can't transfer it back. But also, I'm lying. Yes sirree! You all believed me, don't even deny it. But you will deny this now that you know it isn't real. You can create your own icon in Geometry Dash. This one is really easy, but it only works on the PC version. Click on the tools and then click and hold the create button. Normally, just clicking it would bring you to the level editor, but holding it will take you to the icon creator. It allows you to design an icon using a 10x10 grid. It only works with icons, not ships or anything else. Many people don't know about this feature, but it's actually been around since the 2.0 update. But also, I'm lying. You stupid f***ing idiot. You're so sad and crying right now because you actually believed me. Little did you know, Geometry Dash will never have an icon creator. But did you know it has an icon creator? That's right. I did something I hardly ever do. Tell the truth? No, not that. I changed my mind. A few months ago, I made a video where I said, GoldenEye on the N64 is trash. And I received a lot of backlash. But after giving the game a second, third, even fourth chance, I'll admit that I was wrong. This game is not trash. It's this game and anyone who thinks it's the best N64 game ever. But also, I'm just kidding. I was joking, even back then. I love this game, but I'm lying again. GoldenEye is terrible, and by that, I mean terribly fun. You'll have a great time. That is, if you enjoy bad games, because this one sucks. Reddit was once released on the Game Boy Advance. Game consoles are no stranger to having social media apps or cartridges. But in this case, this wasn't actually a port of the social media, but rather an entirely original video game. You play as Snoo, the Reddit mascot. It's a typical platformer game, but the whole idea is that you're traversing through the internet. The crazy part is, this was released in 2003, and it's actually what gave the founders of Reddit, Steve, Aaron, and Alexis, the idea for it. They bought the rights to the name and mascot, and turned it into a social media. The original game is hardly ever given credit today, but also I'm lying, and you can get lied to again in my upcoming video Balloon, which will hopefully release soon. It's my biggest lie yet. It's my scariest lie yet, and I've worked very hard on it. But also,
okay, I gotta see if this works. Apparently there's a hidden cutscene when you play as Negan in Tekken 7. It was just discovered. I don't know how we've gone this many years without discovering it, but basically all you have to do is play as Negan in any online match. And then when you win, you need to hold L1, L2, R1, and R2 at the same time, and then it'll transfer to this brand new cutscene. Like, I don't know how we missed this. This is crazy. Okay, finally, I found an opponent. Let's fight. Okay. L1, L2, R1, R2. Let's see if this works. Oh. What?
There's a way to help you, kid, but you gotta trust me.
No way.
Some people have immunity to the wildfire place. You know? Yes, like
What?
chili, we have to hurt you.
So like a blood transfusion.
No way.
You need my cum.
What?
You need my cum deep inside you.
you can play PS5 games on your PS2. This is such an easy thing to do, but hardly anyone knows about it. Alright, hold on, pause. Did I do this one already? Or did I do PS2 games on PS5? Geez, I've lied so much I'm forgetting what I've lied about. Okay, come on, I gotta finish the video. If you put a PS5 game in your PS2, nothing will happen. However, downloading a PS5 game onto a USB, then putting that USB in the PS2 will have the game appear in the home menu. This works with PS3 and 4 games as well. But also, I'm lying. Man, I love lying. I love lying so much that I just made a Twitter account so I can lie even more. Or an X account. Either way, I'll finally be able to speak my mind and post more funny and creative stuff. So now you know that you can follow me on Twitter. But I bet you didn't know that.
Okay, I gotta see if this works. Apparently, if you type in one exact specific prompt in any AI image generator, you will always get the same image. So I'll try it out here first with Dolly. Auto lock, show me your face. That is the prompt. Let's click run, and let's just see. I don't know. Does it really take this long every time? Jeez. 45 seconds now. Oh my, what the hell? So I'm on the Microsoft Bing one now. All right, let's see if it makes the same image again. This is like the creepiest. What the hell is going on? Bro, what? This is the creepiest shit ever. Whoa. What the hell?
Monday left me broken. Tuesday
I had no idea the Wii could be played with virtually any controller. If you look at the back of the Wii, you'll see two USB ports. This is great because it allows you to plug a controller into them. I'm talking Xbox, PlayStation, and whatever else. The strange part is, the user interface in the games will always default to the GameCube controller. But also, I'm lying. I bet you feel pretty pissed off now, huh? You feel pretty betrayed. Well, me too. Hey, you think I knew I was lying? I'm just as hurt by this as you. I guess that's why Tinder was once released on the 3DS. This sounds hilarious, I know, but it's true. In 2014, before Tinder was infamous for hookups as opposed to dating, its primary goal was to beat other dating apps and sites like Match.com and OkCupid, which were the two biggest. In an effort to fulfill this goal, Tinder released a prototype 3DS cartridge. The idea was that it would use Street Pass, which if you don't know what that is, it's basically a feature that lets you know when you've walked past another person with a 3DS on them. But if you had Tinder, it would tell you if you walked past another person who also had it. This would make it easier to find local singles with a similar interest in video games as you. This idea, however, received a lot of backlash, with people worried about the potential for child predators, and the cartridge never released to the public. But also, I'm lying. And you believed me. And now you're gonna believe this. GTA 5 was almost released for the PS2. It would have been the only game to come out for 4 generations of PlayStation, and releasing in 2013, it would have been one of the last games ever for the console. Although Rockstar hadn't released Grand Theft Auto 4 for the PlayStation 2, GTA 5 was different. You see, they knew just how big the game had the potential to be, and they wanted to release it on every console that was still making video games, including the PS2 and Wii. However, partly through its development, they realized these older consoles simply couldn't handle the power of GTA 5. They tried everything they could, reducing graphics, render distance, but in the end, the whole thing was scrapped. However, if you watch the first GTA 5 trailer on YouTube, you'll see it shows the PS2 logo at the end. But also, I'm lying. But wait, there's more to this story. You can watch the full story next weekend. It's my biggest lie since Balloon. So stay tuned for next weekend when I tell you how Omegle was once released on the 3DS. 2014 was a wild year, from wasting water in the name of charity to Ellen's Oscar selfie that pissed even me off. Now that I think about it, 2014 was ass. And I'm sure this didn't help. The 3DS Omegle cartridge. Omegle was super popular back in the day. The only problem was the amount of perverts who would lay spread eagle, showing their to anyone of any age. It looks like that don't get pervy warning really didn't do much. So why on earth would Leaf Brooks make a deal with Nintendo to get Omegle on a console for kids? Well, money. You gotta admit, we all used Omegle as kids. It was cool, and having it on the go was great if you didn't have a mobile device. The outrage was nasty though, and the cartridges never went to stores. You can find them online for a hefty price, but now that Omegle has shut down, it won't even work. But also, I'm lying. This is me trying to record the intro to this video. Omegle was once released on There's a chess piece that was removed from the game because it was too powerful. In the early days of chess, and I mean really early, 1441 to be exact, the chessboard we're all familiar with today looked a little bit different. This piece, known as the Dionea, or fly trap, was originally in the place of the rooks. It moved like a rook, but couldn't capture like one. Instead, it would capture in reverse. If an opponent piece landed on it, it became captured, and only the king itself could capture the piece. It was taken out and replaced by the rook, but it directly inspired the name for the Venus flytrap opening. But also, I'm lying. The Dionea is actually a piece from the game Plant Chess. It's a free-to-play PvP game that's like chess and Plants vs. Zombies. With over 10 downloads, it's a hidden gem. You can download it on iOS and Android and add me as a friend. Plant Chess is a quality game that I recommend to anyone who's a fan of chess or tower defense games. Speaking of chess, did you know that Windows was once released on the GameCube? Appearing in 2005, this cardboard cutout version of the Windows OS allowed players to use their GameCubes like a home computer. It couldn't access the internet, but it still had many of the operating system's applications, such as the Notepad, Microsoft Paint, and who could forget Space Pinball. It was a neat idea for kids to feel like they owned their own computer if you didn't want them accessing the internet through a PC. Problem was, as time went on, Windows evolved, but the game didn't, and without much to do, kids lost interest quick. The game was only released in a few stores across America, and it's hard to find them on the internet now. But also, I'm lying. And with that, my lies for the year have concluded. I hope you've enjoyed, and you can check out the entire year's worth compilation on my YouTube channel. I'm leaving YouTube, and my final video will be posted on January 5th. Enjoy my videos when I'm gone, and thank you all so much for watching.